Thank you, everybody, for joining us again here at the Golden Attitude Era podcast. It's the three of us back in the booth again. We got the Fassman, stunning Stevie Scales, and me after last week, your $97.48 champ. Took a beating last week, folks. Fassman was tough, rough on me. Made a little bit of a comeback with Stevie Scales in the snake draft, but hopefully this week we can get back in the triple digits. We do want to all thank you for showing up here and tuning in again, and thank you for joining in the first time. This week, we're going to have a pretty jam-packed show for you, a lot of different topics and insight, and I think some cool stuff from the Fassman coming up here. And
there's some good stories.
Yep, going to have some good stories, and this week in wrestling history with the Fassman.
Yes, sir. Good evening there, Wrestling Podcast Nation. As the champ just introduced me again, my name is the Fassman. I got some good history to go over with us tonight. So let's begin this episode of This Week in Wrestling History with a pay-per-view from April 25th, 1999 from the Providence Civic Center, my birth city, in Providence, Rhode Island. Backlash, which is a pay-per-view. Why are you booing?
Not a
Why are
fan
you
of
booing
Providence.
that? Oh, because I was born in Providence? Yeah, I couldn't choose where I was born. Nothing I could do about that. So, like I said, this took place in Providence, Rhode Island. Backlash, which is the next pay-per-view in a couple of weeks by the WWE. This pay-per-view featured the Bradshaw and Farouk beating and Midian. I don't know if they were in the
Ministry.
The Ministry yet. It might have been that, but when I was looking, I didn't say the Ministry. They beat the Brood. I love the Brood. I was a big Brood.
Was this 99?
99, yeah. I was
Yeah, they were
Ministry.
definitely into the Ministry by then, man. I loved the Ministry.
Okay.
That was one of my favorites.
So good.
And Al Snow. What was Al Snow best known for?
What does everybody
Tough
want?
enough.
What does everybody want?
What does everybody
enough.
need?
What does everybody need, Kyle? Come on. Champ? Head. You wuss. All right, he defeated Hardcore Holly in a hardcore title match to win the hardcore title.
Wow.
Godfather retained the IC strap over Goldust. And Billy Gunn and Road Dogg defeated Double J, JEFF, JARRE, Double T.
E-double-T.
And Owen Hart. He was not the Blue Blazer yet, but again, they defeated them to I can't remember if that was for the tag titles or not. But I know that was a pretty good match. Mankind defeated the Big Show, or as The Rock like to call him, the Big Slow. In a Boiler Room Brawl match. Triple H and The Undertaker. Sorry. Hold on. No, Triple H defeated X-Pac. I think that was the pay-per-view after X-Pac lost to Shane at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was Mania 15. That was they turned.
And Triple H turned on X-Pac.
European title, right?
I think it was European. Yeah, China loved him. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was about to beat Shane for the belt.
Yep.
And Undertaker defeated Ken Shamrock. And then Austin defeated, show him the shirt, Steve. There it is. Defeated The Rock. Who was the special referee in that match?
Was it Vince?
Close.
Shane.
Linda.
Shane.
Oh, Shane. Yeah. I remember that.
Here's an interesting. Was Linda ever a referee or anything in any matches involving Austin or The Rock?
Yes, she wasn't a ref, but she was in the corner when they had it was like a fatal four-way.
At Mania.
There was four, And my favorite Linda thing, to kind of sidetrack here, is when she acted like she was like
in a
paralyzed.
With Trish.
I don't want to go too far down there because that might be something we touch in a later episode. But since we brought up her, that was one of my favorite Linda McMahon moments.
That was at WrestleMania, the year that, like the month after they bought WCW too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember that. That's a good segue. I like that. So the next thing I want to talk about is a SmackDown taping from 2 days later. This is where we saw the Blue Blazer defeat Val Venus.
So this is the follow-up show?
Ladies. What was that, Kyle?
This was the follow-up show? The show
Yeah,
that
the
goes out.
2 days later was SmackDown taping. The Big Show defeated Test. D'Lo defeated Droz. That was a shame what happened to that guy.
Yeah.
Kane and X-Pac defeated Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. It's hard. I've always combined their names into one. Ken Shamrock.
Could you say the Outlaws?
Well, yeah, I could say the New Age Outlaws, correct. Ken Shamrock defeated Bradshaw. He knocked him out in a street fight.
Nice.
That's rare that you ever see Bradshaw get his ass kicked like that.
Yeah.
Mankind submitted the Big Boss Man. See, I don't think the Boss Man didn't have that great of a run his second time back in the WWE.
Yeah, it was
yep.
not eventful at all.
Yep, nope. And then the main event, Austin and The Rock, with a no contest with Triple H and The Undertaker, the corporate ministry, basically. So that was the television taping for SmackDown.
How did that match end? Do you guys, anybody remember how that match ended? I feel like that just becomes like a melee at the end.
I keep wanting to say it was. That's something I was watching earlier that had Austin and The Rock in a lumberjack match, but that was from Raw.
Okay.
I think I sent it. I think I posted it into not to get sidetracked into our group that we have on Facebook.
So check it out. Nice.
So I think it's on there. So this is the main. Actually, no, I'm gonna go one more thing and then get right into the main event of my topic. So May 3rd, 1998. Not talking WWF or WWE, WCW, ECW, WrestlePalooza 98. So this was an interesting pay-per-view. You had Supernova and the Blue Meanie, the BWO. Pinning the FBI.
Nice.
Tracy Smothers and Little Guido.
Full-blooded.
I think all of them were in the WWE in the invasion angle.
Yeah.
Who was Supernova?
Supernova, later known as Simon Dean in WWE.
Yep.
Do you remember Simon?
Okay.
Dean? Yeah.
I know
remember Simon Dean. Yep. And then you had Just Incredible. Then you had Just Incredible pinning Mikey Whipwreck. That Mikey Whipwreck was always getting his just ass kicked.
Yeah.
Then I remember I think a couple years ago. They then put the belt on him. Who did he beat for the belt? You remember?
Austin?
I wasn't an ECW guy.
If Stevie knows this one, I will be.
I think you just said it.
Did he beat Austin?
No.
It was a triple
Mike
threat.
Awesome.
Maybe.
Mike Awesome.
Oh, Mike Awesome. Okay. There was something with
I'm gonna see if you got that one.
Yeah.
Then I was like, hands up, I quit.
My
Steve,
ECW recall isn't as good.
I think that triple threat with Austin, what you're talking about, was Austin's last match before he went to become the Jesus, I can't think of his name right now.
That's what I was thinking of. It might have been it was the Sandman.
It was a triple threat.
I think Sandman might have been the champion. That's why it was in my head for some reason. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then Austin. I think Austin came down with a bandana on it. That one, it was like his first time shaving his head.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else was on that card?
Yep, on that card you had Chris Candido, who was known in the WWF as
Skip.
There you go.
I was gonna say Skip.
He pinned. It was him and Lance Storm.
Nice.
Pinning Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney for the tag titles.
Balls.
Messes.
Then
Those two are messes.
Yeah.
Yep. Then you had Bam Bam Bigelow pinning New Jack.
Dude, Bam Bam was so good in ECW.
Yeah.
That's where I first remember seeing him. Not in WWF. That's where I remember seeing him. It'd be like I remember it'd be on like at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
On Saturday nights
on
that
MSG.
they would on MSG.
Yeah.
On MSG. Yep. That they would show ECW. It would be for an hour.
Yeah.
I never watched ECW. I learned about ECW about 90. Well, no, it was probably when the internet came around is when I first really started watching them. I went back and watched Rob Van Dam versus Sabu. So hearing you guys
don't spoil it. Hold on.
Him,
yeah, we're gonna get into that. That they were also on the pay-per-view.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I was just
gonna get to that in a moment. Sorry,
I
go
was
ahead,
just
though.
gonna say, like, that's how I found out about it. So, like, hearing you guys talk about it and stuff like that, like, I'm gonna learn a lot about ECW, I think, over this.
I'm gonna each week. I'm gonna try. Every once in a while. I'm gonna on my segments. On these segments. I'm gonna sprinkle in a little ECW action.
I like it. I like
Yeah, just to
Okay.
get everybody's memory back to the 90s.
Now you
and
got
other
me
eras.
going. I want to hear about this Rob Van Dam match.
Yep. So then, well, we'll get to that in a moment. So then, the next match that was on the card was Sandman and Tommy Dreamer defeating the Dudleys,
it. Oh, nice.
and then you had Rob Van Dam and Sabu in a time limit draw for the ECW television title.
You know that had to be crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, no question.
How many times did Sabu and Rob Van Dam jump onto the steel railing in that match, you think? 3, 4?
At least.
I was gonna say about 7 or 8.
A piece, 3 or 4 a piece, yeah.
Probably.
Hey,
And then
real quick, the Dudley boys, man. I wish that the ECW Dudley boys could have went to the WWF, because when I saw
there was no way, but
when I saw Bubba Ray berate some of these fans, I would have tears in my eyes, dude. It was so
It's
funny.
brutal.
Oh my god. And sorry, go ahead to the fast man.
Bubba they were great. And then in the main event, you had Shane Douglas, who was known in the WWF as a horrible gimmick as who?
Dean
Douglas.
Dean Douglas.
He could have got it over if he had any talent.
Who? Oh, here's a question. Who was he supposed to beat for the belt at an In Your House?
Easy. We'll see if KBT knows that one. I know
Say
it.
it again.
Who was Dean Douglas supposed to beat?
Intercontinental belt, right?
It was either the IC strap or the heavyweight strap at an In Your House pay-per-view.
It was IC. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the person. I want to say like
You're overthinking
Razor or Michaels or Martel or something.
The second one.
Michaels.
Because
Michaels?
And then remember what happened to him. He got legitimately hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't a shoot. It was legit. Yep.
And his ass
in Syracuse.
It was a legit hurting.
Yeah.
So he was out for a long time too. So like I said, Shane Douglas pinned to retain over Al Snow, the ECW heavyweight title. So that's my little nugget on old era ECW. Now to the main event. I'm sure I'm running low on time. April 27th, 98, Monday Night Raw. This is basically, some people think the demise of WCW, the beginning of the end for a lot, in my opinion, when DX invaded Nitro.
Yes.
The new DX, a month after Michaels dropped the belt to Austin.
Yep.
And Triple H reformed DX. Well, he didn't reform, he continued DX, excuse me, with X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws. So
such a vivid memory.
That's when wrestling was great. Absolutely great. You had segments like that, and especially when you have shows that were that close to each other,
yep.
You'd be able to potentially do things like that, and people wouldn't legitimately get in trouble. So that was the era that we were in.
It was funny because Nitro had been giving away Raw results right for so long, and now here's WWF showing up on their ground right where they're filming a Nitro, like, and they got all the fans. You remember, like, the fans are waiting in line and it said free tickets. They're giving away tickets to Nitro, and all the fans are doing DX chops, and WCW sucks. And it's like,
I remember one show was in Hampton, and the other one I usually write these down too, but Virginia, it was in Virginia too.
Yeah, Norfolk
and Hampton. Yeah, the Scope.
One of my favorite, like, behind the scenes stories of that whole little invasion is that on the other side of that garage door that they pulled down, there was like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and a couple other people like, dude, we thought it was great. If they would have come on in, that would have been
they should have let him in.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen those interviews where they talk about that? I found that to be so funny. Like, oh, that was fucking great. We got to get him in here. You know what I mean? Like, even Eric Bischoff said, we should have, in hindsight, we should have let them in. And because it would have been on TNT.
Right, yeah, he would have loved it.
WWF on TNT.
Or TBS. No, TBS. I'm not
no, it was TNT.
TNT.
You were right the first time.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so Fassman, I remember that moment pretty well.
Yep. That was because I remember when Raw was on from 9 to 11 and Nitro was on from 8 to 10.
All right.
So that ends Wrestling Nation, this week in wrestling history. So I enjoyed that. I found a lot of good things on that. So I found that fun. At first I completely forgot about the date of the DX invasion. Yeah. So that was fun.
Crazy. So long ago. Yep. That's good.
I'm the Fassman signing off.
Fassman, I need to ask. So when you say the Fassman and this week in history with the Fassman, I don't know. I need to know. The fans want to know. How did the
fans want to know?
The fans want to know. How did the Fassman name come about? Where does that name come from?
That's a great question, and I can see the champ in the corner there with a big smirk on his face because he knows very well how this happened.
That was a big part of the origin. I know about.
Yep. So how the Fassman came about? It was about 4 years ago, July of 2017. Living in New York, and the champ used to living in New York. We would always go to Saratoga, Springs, New York, to go to the horse track in the summer. So his brother, who used to be a big wrestling fan back when he was a kid, he would always get season tickets. So, and my last name is Sassaman. So when he put my information to the Racing Association to get my season pass, they completely butchered my last name. And I really wish I still had my password. I looked everywhere, I couldn't find it. So they spelled my last name Fassman. So when I got my card, I look at it, it's like, it's like, Chris, why did they spell my last name Fassman? It's like, and I thought, dude, they're not going to let me in. You got to get this changed. You got to get this corrected. So
I just want to jump in here real quick, and I'll let him continue. By him like giving that brief little insight, he was very, very worked up. Like he was so concerned that he was not going to get into this place because it was like Corey looks forward to Saratoga just as much as I do. Like it's like one of the best places he likes to go. And
we start figuring out what we're going to do like 8 months in advance.
Nice.
So in fact, the fact that he was unsure if he was going to be able to get in to the racetrack, because of it saying Corey Fassman, it was so much fun to us just to pick on him a little bit in a friendly way. Just like, the Fassman's not getting in there. So like that's where the origin of the Fassman came from.
Yeah.
So I do actually have.
And it just stuck.
Yeah, it did stick. Since you brought up Saratoga, and this is a wrestling podcast, Corey, you may not remember this story until I get to a certain point, but I do want to talk about a time when Corey tried to blindside RKO me while I was handicapping a race, and then ultimately how I pulled off one of the best counters to an RKO ever.
Oh my God!
So
Vince would have been proud of this.
Mind you, it's about 3:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday, so we've all had, as Dave LaGreca says, a couple daddy sodas, and we're all feeling good, right? And I'm looking, let's say, straight ahead, and Corey may be about 4 o'clock to me, right? And I'm totally focused on the TV and my program that I have in front of me. Okay. And I'm like a little raised up ground because I'm next to a tree, and Corey's over by our picnic table about 4 o'clock. And as I'm over there handicapping, I don't know what it was, but I got a sense that something was coming from my blind side. And the next thing I know, at the maybe last second, I see Corey perching up on the little raised ground to hit me with the RKO, drop my program and pen, and literally catch him like this and just throw him. If this was a Royal Rumble, he would have went to the first row. It was so funny. Little exaggeration, but that just kind of gives you guys an insight of why Corey's called the Fassman and how we can really bring wrestling into any type of place at any type of time. And that's the That's pretty much the end of our Saratogas.
I basically would have been like Spike Dudley versus Bam Bam Bigelow, where he launched him into the 5th row.
Yeah, it was funny. That was good. But Corey, thank you for that, and
You're welcome.
we appreciate you giving us a little history lesson again with this week.
Yeah, I enjoyed this week. That was fun.
Good trip down memory lane.
Wrestling history with the Fassman.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. Again, Fassman, thank you for that week's history lesson. Always
You're
good,
welcome.
always fun.
Fun.
Now we're moving on to this week's main event. Ding, ding. Favorite finishers of the 90s. Now, we can go, guys, singles, tags, however you want it, you can take it, okay?
No holds barred.
No, exactly. No hold barred. Like Scary Sherry said to us, right? Back in the day.
Or like the Hogan and Mr. T movie. No, that was sorry, that wasn't Mr. T. No, that was Mr. T.
That was Thunder Lips.
I swear I thought there was a movie No Holds Barred.
Anyways, there wasn't. That was what
Zeus.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, I thought it was Mr.
Steve. Anyways, so with that being said, one of my favorite finishers of the 90s that I thought was really cool, and I'm pretty confident you guys thought was pretty cool, was the Pearl, and I'm going to mess this up, the Pearl River Plunge.
I wrote that down.
Did you? Ahmed Johnson, man. That dude was a freaking stud, man. Like that dude had everything except for a brain.
Yeah, he was lacking the brain.
He could have been a champion for sure. You know what I mean?
I think he was a champion, wasn't he?
IC, yeah.
He had the IC strap.
I think so. I'm talking like big time, like champ, like you know what I mean, like the big belt, because he had like that. He had the look, and you know that Vince was trying to do everything he could with that guy. But that's the way that he would just like it was effortless with him, man. It was so cool.
But he got everybody up on that thing too. He got big guys up into that.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I'm sorry, Farouk. I know you don't know me, but I'm going to throw you like this again. I did it last week with Scott, with Razor Ramon. But when he had the Chicago street fight with LOD and 8 Ball and all them, or whatever those guys were.
Yeah, you're going back old school with that one. Okay.
There was a couple moves that he was doing on Farouk that was like, whoa, you shouldn't be picking him up that easy, man. So
Strong dude.
I like the Pearl River Plunge. That was always a cool one. And the name was cool too.
Move.
What do you guys got?
I'm just gonna go with probably the most popular one. It was my favorite in the 90s. Mastered by this guy.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Stunner. That move defined the Attitude Era, right? That was the finisher.
Yep.
People were doing it to each other in middle school. Like it was like pop culture, right? The Stone Cold Stunner.
They wanted to do it to their bosses.
That and the DX chop. I don't know what I got in trouble for more.
You guys, so I watched there was like a 15-minute documentary on the Stone Cold Stunner on maybe it was on the network, but I saw it on Peacock for the first time today. Do you know who gave Austin that, or who created that move and then he gave it to Austin to use?
Doc Hendricks.
That's right, Michael Hayes. I didn't know that.
Michael P.S. Hayes. Get it right, champ.
Yeah.
Don't make me dock your title belt.
Oh, you've already taken it all the way to the freaking cleaners, man. I don't know.
You're gaining some money back on it. Don't make me start to drop it again. You're back to 145 now.
Oh God! Hey, it's almost double. So yeah, Steve, I think the stunner was awesome. It's the best part was, it's like, you know how like we've all like, they got to be able to be done on everybody,
right?
You know, you can do that on anyone, men or women.
Yep. China,
Stephanie, yeah.
Didn't he do
Lita.
China after pulling? Like after taking that sticky beer thing that he was carrying on the arena, and he ripped off her shirt and then he stunned her. Like
I
it
don't
was right
remember
after
that.
she got the implants. They made Austin like go like they wouldn't let him in the arena. So he
Okay.
dressed up as like one of the vendors. And then they got him in the ring somehow. And the next thing you know, you just see him pulling that thing and her like a purple shirt just comes off. And it was like right after she got her breast implants put in. So it was like right around the same time as like Jericho came out and had that freaking awesome interaction with her. I believe I could be wrong now. I could be like mixing moments together, but I feel like he stunned her in that moment too.
Stunners for everybody.
Everyone.
I
Even the
remember
moms.
Did you ever go back and watch the pay-per-view in '98 before Mania, No Way Out of Texas, when they had that 8-man tag?
Yeah.
With him, Owen Hart, Terry Funk, who was known as who in WWF?
Chainsaw Charlie.
Chainsaw Charlie, dumbest gimmick ever. They should have just kept him
Thought
as
it was
Terry
hilarious.
Funk. Oh, I mean, he was still Terry Funk, but and
That Royal Rumble was sick.
Cactus Jack versus Triple H, Savio Vega, and the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
And why wasn't Shawn Michaels in that match?
Based off the history lesson you gave us, he must have gotten his ass beat by Marines in Syracuse.
Well, no, what they were doing, remember, he was actually hurt because of his back. So they were trying
did he have a finisher done on him?
And Shawn Michaels on that event? No.
Okay.
They were just trying to keep him from any match until Mania.
Yeah.
Due to his back, because he was going to be going out for a long time.
So any finisher could have finished them, basically.
Yeah. That's
Leg
why
drop.
they were just doing all the promos and stuff with Tyson.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
we got the stunner, we got the pearl over plunge, we got the stunner. What do we got from the Fassman?
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. And I think people would have loved doing this one as well, just like the stunner. The sharpshooter.
Yes.
That or the figure four.
The figure. Yeah, it was. Those were the two I was looking at.
It was like, which one am I gonna do?
Either Ric Flair or Bret Hart.
Or you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
I remember once I did that on my younger brother, not the Wolf. I have another brother.
Yeah.
And I put it on him, and he immediately, because I remember nowadays when somebody tries to do that, they don't sit down.
Yeah.
It's like,
you
make it
hurt his
real.
back,
You got to sit down on the back.
Yeah.
You got to sit down. They don't do it now. So
why don't they? Because it hurts them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, and you know what other one that kind of fell in that same group is like sharpshooter, figure four, the ankle lock. Once freaking Shamrock came in.
Yep. Shamrock did it first. You're right.
I had so many people because I was a younger brother, and like all my brother's friends were like 3 years older than me. So once I got about 10, 11, they were about 14, 15. So they would put me in the ankle, dude. I would be literally in like the crippler crossface. Somebody else, and then another person would be on my ankle. I'm not.
Someone would have you in the crossface, and then someone would put you in the ankle lock.
Dude, and they were wrenching in on it, and I was crying. I mean, I'm like 10, I'm getting my ass beat by like 14, 15 year olds. And then I snapped, like I legitimately just lost it. Like I didn't realize that they were just like playing around with me, and I just like went out of control. I think I grabbed like one of those. If you went to baseball games, remember the little miniature bats that were like this?
Oh, yes.
Dude, I had like 2 of them from the Rochester Red Wings games. I grabbed them and chased them out of the house with them. Dude, I was like just going after them. Then I locked them out of their house. It was out of my house. It was pretty fun. But
here's a good one.
Those ones would kill me.
Yeah, here's a good one for you guys.
Let's hear it.
Who do you think did the move better, Jericho or Rick Martel?
Oh, well, so.
Why not Sting?
No, he's
no.
He's on for the Boston Crab.
The versions of the Boston Crab.
So
Sting did a Boston Crab.
No, Sting did.
Early Sting did.
Before
not mainly as their finisher.
Yellow hair, blonde haired Sting, collar Sting, yeah. He did the double wrench back, dude. He called it.
Well, I wasn't thinking that. I still thought. Well, again, getting back to what that. Who do you thought did the Boston Crab better,
So
Jericho or Brick Martel?
I'm a fan of Jericho's early lion tamer, where he would basically put his knee in the dude's neck and wrench back the legs. That was
Okay.
Yeah. That wasn't WWF. He did that.
No, that
was WCW.
WCW. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he would be off to the side, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I vote for that version.
Yep.
I'm a fan of the motto, but I like that one too. I Rick the Motto. You know, that's somebody that gets underappreciated. That character was awesome.
Arrogance.
Yeah, you know, I feel like you don't hear about him enough.
No.
But I got a lot of appreciation for him and his moves after watching him in the territories. He was really good back in the 80s and whatnot. He was really, really good.
Yeah, good technical wrestler.
Yeah. So which one do you think, Corey? Since you asked the question.
Yeah.
I honestly, because I saw this more based on the era that I grew up in and how old I am. I honestly, you'd be surprised to hear this answer. I'd say Rick Martel.
Yeah.
Mainly because when he'd be, I saw more of his angles, like he had with El Matador, Ole, Tito Santana.
I love Tito.
Hey.
Tito Santana, and
Jesse
then
Ventura was so
the
funny.
angle that he had with Shawn Michaels. So those were the two main angles that I remember with Rick Martel.
He had a good one with Razor too for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, well, and those are the ones that I remember the most.
You know what? I think I may be wrong on the Sting, but when I'm looking at these pictures, you know who had a good one? It looks good at least. Lance Storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was in the later 90s though.
Hang
that's
on.
Jericho too.
Hang on. I think he did the version of the Cloverleaf because he called it the Canadian Maple Leaf.
Oh, it says Boston Crab on this
with the
picture
Canadian title.
Yeah. So
Canadian
similar.
rules.
It's similar because Dean Malenko did the Cloverleaf, and basically
the Texas Cloverleaf.
Yeah, Texas Cloverleaf, and it's similar to the crab, except one of your legs is like crossed over the other one a little bit, and then you're
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's what's mainly.
They call it a maple leaf. That's what they call it. Whatever. Basically, switch it to your hometown.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was just mainly going Boston Crab between Martel and Jericho.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Obviously, Jericho with the walls.
Oh, those are all phenomenal.
You know who else I'm seeing here that has a cool one? And if I can get the picture up and we can get it to go, Steve, I may try to send it over to you so you can share it on the screen for everybody.
Okay.
Bull Nakano on
women's wrestling now.
Yeah, dude. Like
he did a crab. What did she do?
I'm trying. I don't even know what to call this, to be honest with you. But she did it on Alundra Blaze.
Didn't she win the belt from Alundra Blaze at SummerSlam '94 or something?
No. The big girl did.
That wasn't Bull Nakano?
Faye.
Yes.
With Harvey Whippleman.
Yep.
Harvey Whippleman.
Who was hard? You know how she beat her?
How?
Move? I don't know. I was gonna ask. I was hoping you knew.
Oh no.
I think it was just she like just ran into her a lot. Like honestly, I think that's like what it was.
Just squished her.
Just bullied her over.
Yeah. It's like that's pretty bad, isn't it?
So do you guys know? So I did some research on the sharpshooter, and I'm glad you brought it up, Corey. Do you know who taught Bret Hart how to use the sharpshooter? I didn't know.
Reg Park. No, not Reg Parks.
Probably his father.
Who was the guy? Do you guys know this story? And I tell you, I say this story to get me back to my my answer to this. But when Owen called up to his dad and Stu picked up and he's like, "If you wanted to try me, why didn't you try me back then?" You know what he's talking about? Because that's the guy I'm trying to think of.
I forget who. I remember the story. I forget who it is. But it's
dang it. It's
a
him.
wrestler. It's a guy who he had a short-lived career in WWF in the early 90s. And then he wound up in WCW for a while.
I don't have a clue.
He was a member of the NWO Wolfpack.
Kurt Hennig? No. You said a good career.
Not Rick Rude. because he was in WWF for a while.
He wrestled in Mexico for a while. That'll probably give it away.
Oh crap.
Not
La Parka?
No.
Did he
Conan.
become
Conan. I was on the right track.
He was in WWF as Max Moon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
They wanted Pat Patterson wanted Brett to start using a submission when he broke away from Heart Foundation. And they were trying to, and Pat Patterson's like, hey, do you know how to use the Scorpion Lock, which was a move made famous in Japan, and then Sting used it because he saw it in Japan as well. But anyways, Brett didn't know how to put it on, and Conan was in WWF at the time, and he knew how to do it, so he taught Brett how to use the sharpshooter, which is kind of
cool.
Yeah.
You hear that guy get a lot of hate for some reason. I
Conan?
feel like, yeah. Maybe just not like on these like old, like you go on YouTube and you type in like shoot interviews. You hear people talking bad about him because of him, like his what was the show he ran for a while? I can't think of it.
I mean, he was in he had a lot with AAA.
Yeah. That's like when that was like running pretty well, like when it was like at its peak. That's when I was hearing a lot about him and people taking shots at him, because that's what happens when you're up top. I didn't really know that he like was around for so long.
Oh yeah,
right?
Big time.
Because when he was in WCW, he had to be close to 45, right?
Yeah.
Like he was, and he didn't look that dude.
He had a sick finisher. Do you remember his finisher? The Tequila Sunrise. It was a submission hold. Another good submission hold. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Steve, see if you can find a picture of that. And I did send you that one of Bull Nakano doing it to Alondra Blaze.
Okay.
See if it's in the chat. See if you can get it to share. Corey, I'm sorry I cut you off. You were about to say something?
No, I was gonna say in talking about Conan for a second. Wasn't he also in the federation that Johnny Nitro, Johnny Drip Drip,
Lucha Underground
now was in the one with Alberto Del Rio.
The Lucha Underground.
Right. Lucha Underground was
I don't know.
He in that as well?
Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah,
Johnny Drip Drip, great. Let's
see if I can share my screen.
Corey, you ever seen this one that he's gonna hopefully be able to get up here by Bull Nakano?
Yep, I remember that.
Dude, that look intense. Like if that was on, you don't think that would kind of hurt if it like was actually like on pressure points? Or is that just more?
I could get you in that.
I think that's more of an image thing. Like it really doesn't hurt, but it just looks like it would be.
Looks like it does.
Yeah, she's selling it, right?
It's like she's sitting on her back without an actual chair.
Yeah, Bull Nakano was a beast, man. She was good when she came over.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah. All right.
How about I have one.
Yeah.
Which was the classic golden era maneuver that I was always a big fan of, was the perfect plex.
Oh gosh, yeah, man. Right? Yeah.
Just Fisherman suplex was probably around for a while, but when Kurt Hennig did it, it was just.
It's when he lashed the hands. As he said, he's got the hand. Oh no, Gorilla Monsoon was the first person that
got the hands locked.
Got the hands locked. He's not getting out of it.
It's over.
I don't know why.
Have another banana, Monsoon.
Yeah. Oh man, you gotta miss those two. As soon as you said the perfect plex, this one came to mind for me. And it was more 80s, but it came in a little bit in the 90s. So bear with me. I'm going to try to get a little bit leniency on the court here. Yep. The Rude Awakening.
Oh, yeah. Good move.
Come on. That little extra. The little extra. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
let me just rub it in your face one more time. You know what I'm saying?
Sam's trying to get a little nostalgic with us right now. I like it.
Yeah. And
I got yanked on the neck, too. It was like, damn. It looked like it friggin' hurt.
You thought the throat or whatever, trachea, right? Yep. Or whatever. You thought that was getting pulled down hard into that muscle or into that shoulder.
Yep.
And another one before I'm going to cut you off, fast man. Hold on to it. Shattered Dreams by Goldie.
Shattered Dreams.
Oh my!
Original Goldust, not the nonsense that he turned out to be.
No, absolutely. Before the electrocution, absolutely.
Yeah.
Execution. Even though that was one of my favorite, like that was some funny stuff right there. I agree with you. When he was, or the 90s Gold Dust, when Marlena first came out with the Gar and all that type of stuff.
Yep.
But dude, remember like just watching the first time, like, just move your legs. Just move your legs.
Yeah.
Why isn't he moving his legs?
Can't be.
Oh, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, dude, just move your legs. Just move your legs. But I don't know. That one, as soon as you said perfect plex, I don't know why, but those two came boom,
Thought of
boom.
it kicking the balls.
Yeah, right.
I love this.
That's a rude awakening,
topic.
right?
Yep,
Yeah.
I love this topic. I have nothing more because it'll lead right into our draft.
Okay.
I don't want to be spoiling anything that I want to do though.
What about honorable mention? Just based off of the
honorable mention, I'd go
documentaries?
Diesel.
Well, I was saying my honorable mention, but Diesel would be a good one. Yeah, Steve, you said one.
No, I just said jackknife because he was saying diesel. It's like jackknife. That was
Love the jackknife, man. Love it.
I don't think I ever saw anybody kick out of that because he was so damn tall.
Yeah.
He'd get you up like over at least he was what 7 foot.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
by the time that you were above his head.
Yeah.
He wasn't 7
Well, he was
foot.
billed at 7. He was billed at over 7 feet.
What is he? Okay, fine. I mean, he was still freaking tall.
Right.
By the time you were over his head, where your head would be, you were at least probably 9-10 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
And then just come crashing
just
down
let
like
you
that.
go,
I'm
right?
sorry, no.
Yeah. Just drop.
Now, who did you like better? Same time frame, same move. Psycho Sid, Diesel.
Sid.
I was a big Sid fan. And one of the reasons why I like Sid, because he would kind of let you go too. But once you got like eye level, you would see him because he would go like this. And you could clearly see he's not holding him anymore.
Mhm.
But once he got to like right here, you saw him go like this with his arms and like kind of throw him down a little bit. Like not like actually throw him down, but give that illusion. You know, that's kind of why I liked his.
And the great thing is he would do the job. Like at WrestleMania. I mean, he didn't want to be pinned by Hogan, but he did the job to Hogan at WrestleMania 8. Even though he lost by DQ. He was the perfect heel in that match.
Diesel did that too with Taker at 13. So you can give that nod to both of them.
Yeah.
What you think, Stun and Stevie? You got something over there, Scales.
I'm surprised you haven't brought up your second round draft pick from last week. Was that not one?
Well, maybe I got him in the packet here for the Stun and Scales draft fee, huh? Trying to blow up my pick here, huh?
No, it's not a pick.
Jeez.
So it's a moment. It'll be a moment for the draft. We can talk about the move itself.
No, look, I wanted to have its own shine. Its own shine. But I love it, man.
That's my honorable mention of the jackknife powerbomb, which was used obviously by Diesel, Kevin Nash, whoever you want to call him, and then Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, whatever name you wanted to.
Ruler of the world.
The ruler of the world.
All
right. Well, we've heard a lot about our stunning Stevie Scales snake draft coming up here. So why don't we end this topic and with no further ado, hand it over to the stunning one and let Scales do his thing with the snake draft. What do you say, Fassman?
Sounds good to me.
All right, stunning Stevie Scales. Over to you, big guy. Take us away.
All right. So we are here, week 2 of Scales Snake Draft. I'm going to share my screen up for all our viewers at home. And I'm going to just give you a quick little rundown of the draft order and what we're doing today. Let me know once that pops up for you guys. You can see it? We're good?
Good here.
All right.
Looks kosher to me.
Because we discussed our favorite finishers of the 90s this week, we decided our snake draft is going to be the greatest moment of the 90s featuring a finisher. I know that's kind of a mouthful, but basically we wanted to find a moment in time of when one of our finishers that we loved took place, whether it was a match or not a match, a moment, an interview, whatever it may be. But during the 90s, that's what we'll be drafting today. 3 rounds as normal. Fassman will lead us off, KVT, and then myself, and we'll snake back and snake back. And
all right.
I will stop sharing my screen here. And we'll report back to this draft board after round one and do a quick little recap. So I'm going to stop sharing there, and I will throw it to the fast man for the number one pick.
Yep. So, in honor of the shirt that our fearless leader is wearing, the stunning one is wearing, it's the most obvious selection that could be made number one. Austin Stunning McMahon.
Perfect.
Say no more.
Yeah.
KVT.
I love that pick. I probably wouldn't have gone with that one as my number one.
Well, it could be used
wow.
anywhere. It could be used like before Mania, after Mania, wherever. But continue.
Look, I got you, man. I'm with you. But this kind of goes to I'm like sitting here thinking, 90s most impactful moment with a finisher. This kind of was like the first time I was ever like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Yokozuna doing the bonsai drop to Jim Duggan.
Okay.
And on Raw.
No, Raw?
It was Raw. It was
Superstars.
on Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
I remember sitting there. This was when it was on at 8 o'clock on USA. It was like the first time it was 8 o'clock for 1 hour.
Mhm.
I just remember sitting there and just being like, oh my gosh. Because when I didn't really get to watch Duggan, but like his persona was just so like, man, you can't touch me. Like I am USA. Like, oh, like all of that. It was just like, yeah, he's gonna get him. Like if anybody can get this guy, it was Duggan. And then when Duggan like had him on the ropes and he was about to hit him with that, and then he gets not just one, not just two, and you know what else he did? I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop here. He put the American flag over him.
Oh yeah, he did.
I was waiting for you to say that.
And it's just like boom, and it's like, oh my gosh, that one was legitimately the first time I was ever just like, wow, what is going on right now?
They couldn't do that now.
He was bleeding out of his mouth, like you know what I mean? Like he did, like Vince, gotta love him. Oh my God! Oh, just freaking out. It's just, and I'll stop there. But man, that one was.
No, that's a brilliant one. I never would have thought of that.
That one just like was like, oh, what the hell just happened?
That's a great pick.
And there was no way they could do that type of an angle now. No way.
No, yeah, they stray away from that kind of stuff now.
Too bad too, man.
They tried it. They tried it with Rusev and Cena.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Yeah, we're not doing this ever again."
Who hates Bulgaria? Like,
right, indifferent.
Yeah, like if that was Russia, maybe you could definitely probably get a little bit more. But that's mine, guys.
No heat on Bulgaria.
Yeah.
The Bulgarian brute.
Only heat is wanting to be with Lana.
That's right.
And that's like envy. Like, oh, forget you, buddy.
Right. Exactly.
You ain't that cool.
Yep.
All right. So the bonsai drop and the Stone Cold
on the bonsai drop on America.
On America, yeah, exactly.
More or less, yeah. More or less.
It was. That was a good pick. That wasn't even in my thought process, and I'm glad you picked it because that's a great memory. I remember that as a kid for sure.
Yeah, right. Still impactful.
All right. So I'm up for 2 in a row here.
Yes, sir.
I will. So for my first one, we discussed this move at length earlier. I think it's my favorite submission of all time, and you guys probably agree, is the sharpshooter. And the moment that I'm picking is WrestleMania 13, the sharpshooter being applied to Stone Cold Steve Austin, the blood from the stone. Classic submission. Yeah, I mean, my favorite match of all time. My favorite finisher of all time, my favorite wrestlers of all time, and all in one match. I mean, you knew it was a submission match, so Stone Cold was at a little bit of a disadvantage storyline wise.
Submission unless he used the $1 Million Dream.
Right. And he pulled out. I think he did a Boston Crab, which he pulled out from time to time. But Brett was the technician, and Brett got tons of submission holds, and the sharpshooter being the best of them. One in the match when Austin passed out. But that one, for me, is my number one pick.
Okay.
Is the sharpshooter.
Yeah, man.
Any thoughts on that?
I have so many thoughts. I just want to say this one thing. Next week's show, I'll have something in homage of that because that's probably one of my favorite matches of all time.
Yeah.
Not to go too far, but
no,
Right.
yeah, I agree.
Nope, I got you.
All right.
And coming
Do
back.
we want to recap? I mean, I think.
No, I think
we're good.
it's I did
We're good.
Austin McMahon.
Yeah.
KBT did Bonsai on America.
Bonsai in America.
And obviously you did WrestleMania 13.
Sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter making Austin pass out with the blood gushing down his face.
Classic. So for my second one, I will.
Well, it's better be good. He's got.
This is a good one because I have a good little story to tell with this one that I
We all like stories.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Tombstone Pile Driver from the Undertaker to Hulk Hogan, Survivor Series 91.
Okay.
Undertaker's first WWF title reign. And if you guys remember, it wasn't just a normal tombstone. There was a steel chair involved because the Nature Boy, that's right, the Nature Boy ran down the ringside.
Where's he going?
He's not supposed to be here.
I love it.
Well, you stop. So he slides the steel chair. He gets involved in a little scuffle with the Hulkster. The ref gets distracted with Paul Bearer. Flair slides the chair in. Undertaker hits the little chop to the throat on Hogan, flips him over. Tombstone, 1, 2, 3. Hulkamania is dead, as Bobby Heenan said. But the funny story. So I was watching a Undertaker interview today on YouTube with Peter Rosenberg. It might have been from this year sometime. But anyways, they were talking about this match, and apparently Hogan was quite nervous to take the tombstone. He was convinced Taker was going to drop him on his neck for whatever reason. Taker prided himself on never hurting anybody, so he was not going to do that. But anyways, so he gets to the point of the move. Taker gets him up in the tombstone position, puts him down. The head doesn't even come anywhere near the ring.
Like that far apart.
That far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first thing Hogan says, and I went back and watched it, you can see him mouth these words as he says, "You got me, brother." Meaning that he said that he hurt his neck. So they get backstage. And Hogan's in Vince's office. Taker said he's lying on his back, like spread like this, saying he can't move. His neck's broken. And he's telling Vince, "Call my kids, brother, call my wife. I'm hurt bad." And Taker's like in there, like, "Are you kidding me?" And apparently like the EMTs come in because Hogan said he's legit hurt. The EMTs come in. Taker is like kayfabe to the death. He hides behind the door so the EMTs don't see him, not in character. And he hears all this going on, and he's just like, "Oh my God." And later down the road, I don't know what he said, like a week or two, he said, "Hulkster, I watched the video, dude. Your head wasn't anywhere near the mat." And Hulk says, "Yeah, I know, I watched it too. But I think the issue was, brother, that you held me too tight. I couldn't move at all." It's like, you told me to hold you tight so you didn't drop you on your neck. Freaking guy. So
And then 9 days later, he wins the belt back in Texas.
Yeah, a couple days.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Was it 2 days or 9 days?
Yeah.
You know what I heard about that is he being Hogan, claimed someone along the lines hold him too tight, but like the jerk did something that gave him like a whiplash effect, and that's like what he ended up regressing to. I didn't know any of that about the Undertaker part of it being there.
Yeah,
I didn't know that at all, to be honest with you.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, fun story. All right, KVT, you're up.
Okay,
brother.
so I'm going I feel like I kind of know how this pattern's going. I feel like I'm going a little bit different than you guys, which I kind of like, because the one I was gonna do next, I'm gonna hold off till the third because I don't think it's gonna get picked. Okay. So this one again. Now I'm going early Raws again.
Okay.
And it's one of those moments, it's like one of those like foundation moments of wrestling fandom, right? When the 1, 2, 3 kid hit the Moonsaw off the top, won the match against Razor Ramon.
Classic.
Like, it's like, whoa, how did he do that? Like he's not supposed to win. Like, wait, so anything, and then like all you hear Vince McMahon going, anything can happen. We're live. It's Monday Night Raw. And it's like, oh my God, anything can happen. This is so like, this is wild. That dude is like, just like, he's like, can't be too much older. He's got, it's just with another moment. And I think it impacted me so much because it involved my favorite wrestler at the time. You know what I mean? Razor. Like, Razor wasn't supposed to lose that match.
Right.
How would it, like, what?
Jobbers don't win. Jobbers don't win.
Right. But then, like, what makes it even cooler to me now, looking back at it, in a retro sense, knowing how close they were, knowing that Scott Hall said, "No, I want to pick this guy. I want to put him over." And I think, again, like, that just makes me like that guy as a wrestler. Now, as a human being, he was very suspect at times, obviously, but drugs and alcohol can do that to anybody, But man, as a wrestler, him and Jake the Snake, it's kind of funny, right? How they ended up in the Accountability House together, but they kind of both the same type of person. They never really needed to go over. They just wanted to make money. They understood the whole mental game of it, and the fact that he was willing to put over the 1, 2, 3 Kid on what was maybe the only live national wrestling show at the time, like, because he knew that the next week when he comes in, they're going to want to see what Razor's going to do to 1, 2, 3 Kid. That's why it was so impactful. It made me like, oh my God, that was crazy. Didn't think that was going to happen. Can't wait to see what happens next. And he ends up getting made fun of by like $1 Million Man, and that parlays into something else. It was a catalyst of so many cool things. And then I don't know. I still to this day don't understand what X-Pac heat is, but like the dude had a lot of freaking, and you guys can tell me that in another time, but the guy had a really good career.
He did. No, I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
But that's my pick.
Was good. It was a good moonsault.
And then he also, I don't know if this, I kind of went back and forth on what one I was going to take, the one where he actually beat him, or the one where he was knocked out, got up on the thing, then hit the moonsault and ran out with the money.
That was that. No. That was that time.
Oh, it was all one? Okay.
That was on one, yeah. Yeah, because it was a
I thought
Razor had that bag of money.
No, you're wrong, Corey.
It was later.
He had to like entice him. Be like, I'll give you 1,000. And then they did a phone call on Raw. I'll give you 5,000. No, I still can't. It was
25,000 at the end that finally got him into the match.
I thought it was 10. Either way.
I know it was a lot of money.
Either way.
Alleged money.
That was a nice little finisher, and a finishing up a match. Is like, oh, that was crazy. Another one that was, again, childhood, like, never saw that coming, or haven't seen that before. You know what I mean? Yep. So it was all still new.
There you go.
Good pick.
Okay. Good pick.
All right, Fassman.
So to recap real brief, I have Austin, Stunning McMahon. KVT in his first round took Yokozuna Banzai dropping America.
Yep.
On America, excuse me. The Stunning one took Bret Hart, the sharpshooter, and then he came back with the Tombstone on Hogan. That's Survivor Series 91. And then KVT just came back with X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid, the Kid.
No, it was 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Why not? I'm just going over names.
Yeah.
Beating Razor with a moonsault. So okay, I wouldn't have thought of that one, KVT. I like that.
That's a good one.
Yep, that was a very good one. So to end round number 2,
dun, dun, dun.
I'm gonna go with this is a good one. I'm gonna go the Ultimate Warrior, 1990, beating Hogan, the splash.
Nice.
The splash heard around the world because no one thought, okay, Hogan's invisible. He's not going to lose his match. And then Ultimate Warrior beat him at WrestleMania 6. And a very good match if you go back and watch it.
Two
baby faces just going at each other.
How about what Hogan said in the documentary about how like 5 minutes in, Warrior's like, let's go home, brother. Let's go home.
He's blown up already.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he used up all his freaking energy just
And
running
Hogan
to the
had to
ring,
hold
which he
him
would
down.
always do.
Yeah.
Hogan had to hold him down. I'm like, nah, dude, we gotta slow this down.
Headlock.
And I remember in the match, I can't remember if it was either Heenan or the Body, like saying, like just screaming when the Ultimate Warrior was running to the ring. He's like, "This is a big mistake. You should be conserving his energy. Walk to the ring."
I'm pretty sure
His
that
match of his life.
wasn't it Jesse that was doing that one.
so.
I think it was Ventura. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I know it was one of the two, but you're right. It was at the end of the day, it was the Body that did that. But like I said, that's the match that made his career.
Did he get him up on the Gorilla Press? He got him up.
He
right?
did.
Yeah.
Yep, he got him up on there.
But another thing.
But then
that
Hogan kicked out of it.
Another thing that Hogan said was Hogan had to do basically more of the pressing than what Warrior did. Because like Warrior just had, he's like, Warrior just had to keep me stable. Like I was doing the pressing. I mean, in a sense, but
Yep.
because he was so winded.
So there's that. So that's my number 2 pick.
Warrior.
You don't like it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was a good moment. Absolutely. There's only a couple of Ultimate Warrior moments that I truly like appreciated. So
That
I'm not, like,
well, there was that one in
cool,
WrestleMania
but
8. Whenever I want a good moment to go back and watch wrestling, it's WrestleMania 8 when Hogan, when Sid Justice and Papa Shango are basically everybody's thinking it's Hogan's last match and they're trying to put him out of his misery, and then the Ultimate Warrior saves him at WrestleMania 8 to finish off the event.
Yeah, not even that though. These are the type of moments I'm thinking of is like when Jake the Snake locked him in the snake pit.
Yes, I remember that.
Or like put him in the coffin.
Yeah.
Like
I remember that. That was scary.
I liked when people were fucking with him. Like to be honest with you, or when Papa Shango had the ooze run down his face. Like that's the type of stuff that like. Okay, I'll give him credit on one. The promo before WrestleMania 5 was so bad that it was so awesome.
Who did he fight at 5?
Oh no, but
You mean 7?
maybe yes, yeah, because Hulk.
No, that's 6.
The plane interview.
Yeah.
What one's that?
In the cockpit. That's
Yes,
Hogan. Yeah.
That one. Yeah, that one. But that's just
Okay.
me though.
No,
I appreciate his greatness. Like I get it, but
Yep.
you know.
So then my third and final pick in the week 2 Stevie Stunning Scales draft. I'm surprised, honestly, that this lasted.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go with Flair in the figure 4. I mean, probably after Saturday Night Main Event, one of the main one I think of after Mania, when he lost to when Macho Man retained, was the one where he was going to show the world what he had with Elizabeth, and never did it, obviously. When he was able to regain the belt using the figure 4 on Macho Man. Now, obviously, he didn't use it when he won the Rumble in '92, which I still think is the greatest Rumble of all time. But we can get into that at a later date.
So I'm a little confused. What's the pick?
Flair, figure 4.
On Savage. Saturday night.
On Saturday Night Main Event when he beat Savage.
To win the title? Okay.
Win back the title, yeah.
I didn't remember that one.
Yep, that was, well, obviously we all know that Savage was hurt. And it just turned out to be like a quicker match. Obviously that was a harder pick for me to do. So I just went with something that just off the top of my head thinking of with Flair.
Yeah, that's you, man. I get it. That was what was memorable to you. Absolutely.
So
all right.
That's my third pick.
So I got a few different ones here that I want to like pick from.
Okay.
but
Did the one that you wanted to do come back to you?
No, I know which one that is, but like while I was sitting here thinking, I kind of got a couple other ones that popped in my head. But the one that I'm gonna go with my original one. And if nobody picks the other one, I'll throw them out there at the end because I don't want to ruin that for anybody else either.
Okay.
So you don't really see too many. Well, a lot of. So this is back early Raws again, right? It's like I told you, I kind of had a theme going here. You really didn't see a lot of people use other people's finishers on them. So like if it was like Big Show Taker, you didn't really see Big Show giving a tombstone to Undertaker. You know what I mean? Like that really didn't happen, especially in the early 90s, right? So this one involves two of the Clique members, right? One's considered one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. Probably the consensus greatest of all time. Ric Flair calls this one the greatest ever, and that would be Shawn Michaels, right?
Right.
So, well, actually, I lied to you. There's 3 Clique members involved with this. So, Razor was in a match against somebody in the ring. Can't remember who it was, and this is all leading up to the Intercontinental versus Intercontinental Summer. You know what I mean? Like how they did that whole thing, SummerSlam to WrestleMania, and then even some there.
To ladder match too.
He's just having like I think it was a squash match or against somebody. It's like another mid-carder. You know what I mean? A name that's not really too big. And Michaels comes down and interferes in the match, costs Razor to lose. And Razor chases after him. You know what I mean? You know how they like the ramp at those days was like 15 feet. Yeah. So like you really couldn't like have too much room and like everything had to be done so succinctly. So like this one was executed pretty darn well because a lot of times you saw some things screw up. You have Razor running down this ramp and you got Michaels about in front of him 10 feet. You remember how they actually had the curtain and they had like the neon lights with the one that we were talking about, the old school original Monday Night Raw? You just see Michael run through it, Razor 5 feet behind him, and you just see this big old fist come right out, knock Razor right on his butt. But when he does that, you see silver, like a silver triangle, and then just black tassels. So you know it's Diesel that just knocked him out.
Yep.
Who comes out like a little snake later? Michaels to pick up the pieces, beats him up, and what's he do? He gives him the Razor's edge in the middle of the alleyway. And again, I'm a little bit biased with this being a memorable moment because of who's involved. But like, when do you see that? First of all, he's doing the finisher like that outside the ring. You didn't really see that a lot back then.
No,
like, that was like not done at all. You see it, the man's finisher that he made famous and made so deadly done to him by his arch rival who he hates and now I hate because he hates, you know, and he's getting double teamed. It was just, I was legit mad. Like I remember I still to this day, I remember being like, what the, you know, like I wasn't saying that word, but I was just like, oh man, what the heck? So that was another one of mine. As you can see, that was a very like another first, like, wow, never saw that on the floor, on the actual floor. Like, that one was just real impactful for me as well. Yeah. Like the move's cool. Razor's Edge, one of my favorite finishers. One of the coolest, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then just having it done to the creator, I always thought was a little bit more just sticky. I thought it was cool because he could have came out and just did the super kick, but it wouldn't have had the same impact.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that was big time. Do
you guys remember that?
Oh yeah, I just watched.
I remember the first part. I don't remember him doing the stuff outside the arena. Now you'd see that a lot more in the Attitude Era.
Arena. No, not in the arena. He did it in the rampway.
Yeah,
like going to
the alleyway. So I thought you meant outside.
You're right in the entranceway.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it was good. That's a good pick.
I mean, you saw that a lot more in the Attitude Era than you did.
Yeah, dude.
In the early mid 90s. But
one of the reasons why I liked 90s, like the early 90s so much is because it was still hardcore kayfabe. You know, like You like, and even if majority of like adults knew, it was kind of like Santa Claus. I was still at the age like where they let you just. If I'm sorry, Santa Claus is real.
Or sorry, go ahead.
They just kind of let you go. You know what I mean? Like this. Do your thing, little man. Do your thing.
No, or as like I said, I thought they're like when you hear the song 12 Nights of Christmas, I really thought that you guys actually had 12 Nights of Christmas. Just like that too.
All right, cool. So Stevie, what do you got?
Oh man, there's so many on my board that didn't get picked. This is like such a hard decision for me. There's one that's a pinnacle moment in wrestling history. The move isn't that great, but I think I'm going to go with it just because of the moment. And that's going to be Bash at the Beach 96.
Leg drop.
The Hogan leg drop on Randy Savage.
Yeah. You know what? I get so focused on WWE. I
forgot all about that.
Yeah, so that's moments, man.
Wow. Other than Austin McMahon, that's the biggest moment in wrestling history.
Yeah, the foundation, the moment of the NWO formation with that started with that leg drop, and you can hear Shivani, no, what is he? Oh. And you know, Heenan.
Is he the third guy? Is he the third guy?
Yeah. Heenan spoils it.
What are you talking about?
I think that was the first time I saw anything get thrown in the ring in my like live watching it before too.
Yeah, that was pretty wild back in those days in WCW. They used to let the fans just throw so much trash in the ring at the NWO. Like you never seen anything like that.
They did.
They're getting clobbered with a soda bottle. Poor
Dude,
guy.
who was it? Who was it? Nash loved it. Yeah,
Nash,
he was swatting stuff.
Yeah, he would swat stuff. But anyway,
he would like point out to the crowd. Yeah.
The Hogan leg drop. As I type this in here, as our final pick, on Savage, of course, right? Fitting. You know, those two guys were bitter rivals. You know.
Yeah. Couldn't get out of his own. They couldn't get out of each other's way, man.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up the draft board here and we can let our fans take a glimpse at the final product.
I cannot believe that dropped all the way to 9.
Yeah, I had a few others ahead of that, but as far as like me liking the finishing move more, but as far as a moment goes, I don't think you can't really top that.
Savage got some beating in this draft. It looks like, especially from you. Oh, no, me too.
Razor Ramon got beat up on mine.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm a fan.
So here we go. So here's the finished product. Fassman's 3 picks. He had the Stone Cold Stunner on Vince McMahon from Raw, September 97 at Madison Square Garden. His second pick was the Warrior Splash on Hogan from WrestleMania 6. One Warrior of the title.
Yep.
Round 3. His pick was the Ric Flair figure 4 leg lock on Randy Savage from Saturday night's main event, where Ric Flair won his title back. KVT, his first pick was Yokozuna's Banzai drop on America and on Jim Duggan underneath America from Monday Night Raw back in '93. Second pick was the 1-2-3 Kids. The upset of the century at that time.
Knocked out Moonsaw.
Yeah, the top rope Moonsaw.
Get the money. That's one of my favorite quotes. I never said that, but I think all you hear is like Razor in his interview goes, all I started yelling was, get the money. Like
so 1-2-3 Kid. And then his final pick was the Razor's Edge, not by Razor Ramon, but by HBK on Razor Ramon on Monday Night Raw in the entranceway, in the midst of that Razor and Shawn Michaels feud with Diesel, thrown in the mix there.
Yep.
My 3 picks, my first one was the Sharpshooter from Bret Hart to Stone Cold Steve Austin from the WrestleMania 13 submission match. My second pick was Undertaker's Tombstone on the Hulkster, Survivor Series 91, Undertaker's first WWF Championship. And then my final pick was the formation of the NWO, the Hogan leg drop on Randy Savage, Bash at the Beach, 96. Hulk Hogan, you can go straight to hell, as Tony Schiavone said.
Yep.
So that is the greatest moment of the 90s featuring a finisher Scales snake draft. Hope you guys enjoyed. We can throw a little quick honorable mentions out there. We don't have too much time to dive into them, but does anybody have an honorable mention that didn't make the cut?
Just when Big Show choke slam Taker through the ring. That was about it. That was the one that I was like going back and forth on, because that was, again, first time I've ever seen that. You know what I mean? Like those things are just always really cool. I like first.
Goldberg spearing Hogan and the Georgia Dome to win the belt.
That was the one I was debating between on my last pick.
Yep. Now that you went WCW, it's like, yep, that just opened up the floodgates on that one.
Yeah, that was my one I was going to mention.
Okay.
The other one I had was Sweet Chin Music. Shawn Michaels winning the title at WrestleMania 12 versus Bret Hart.
I was wondering, I couldn't remember if it was 12 or 13.
The boyhood dream came true.
Boyhood dream, yeah.
A boyhood
Vince
dream.
Is the man, dude. Vince made all those moments just so much better. He says that stuff like in that way. He's the best.
So good. So that wraps up that. I will throw it back to KVT for an official news segment this week. Last week it was kind of thrown in, but this is official. Yeah, this week is official. The fantasy booking of the fantasy draft, fantasy booking with KVT.
All right, thanks, Scales. So there's a lot of good moments. Some I'm a little bit more drawn to than the other. If we go up and down the list here and we look at Corey's, we got Corey. The one that, like as I said, didn't really hit me was Warrior versus Hogan. I was a Hogan guy. Was a little disappointed, you know. Understandable, very, very impactful moment. Get why he picked it. You can't really say anything too bad about his stunning steed or his Stone Cold Stunner against Vince. You have the whole Survivor Series with Austin or with Taker and Hogan, and then with Hogan doing the leg drop, and me with just kind of some more memorable ones for myself. So if I had to, and I do have the pen and the eraser, so if anybody says anything a little bit too early, don't forget I can always get that thing right out of there. For me, I have to go with a draw by disqualification by the Japanese bad guy, Yokozuna, and give stunning Vince and the lag drop to Macho Man a victory by disqualification because of the Japanese banzai drop. I just can't pick a winner out of those two. They're way too impactful, you know? So if anybody has anything to kind of sway me in the next 30 seconds, I can hear your cases.
I got nothing.
Yeah, they're all they're all good moments. I like what you did, Kyle, with yours. Yours was more, maybe not the marquee moments, title changes and things, but more of the memorable things that happened that maybe people forgot about, that it's going to really jog people's memories and maybe make them go back and watch those classic old school Monday Raws.
Cool. So with that, you just changed my mind. I am going to dusty book here, and I'm going to put myself over, and I am now the full $1,000 champion.
No, you're back up to 500.
The fix is in. The fix
and
is
everybody's got a price, and mine is the fantasy booking. So everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed this week. It was a pleasure talking to you about our favorite finishes of the 90s. Next week, we're going to do a little bit of watching between the three of us. Backlash 2001, I believe it was, we all agreed on.
Yep.
And in honor of this upcoming pay-per-view here, and Backlash and this upcoming Sunday, right?
Nope, the 16th.
16th. So we're going to do that.
It'll lead into it.
Hopefully you guys come back next week and we'll have a nice little discussion on that. And we're going to have a snake draft, or Stevie Scales snake draft, just like we did this week off our main topic. And also another great segment of This Week in Wrestling History with the Fassman. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.